All right, guys, we are live. HobbyPallooza 2021. How is everybody doing out there? So, as you can see, I'm excited about the big fight tonight. Mike McGregor, the trilogy fight against Dustin Poirier. Now, I got to tell you guys right off the bat, I was talking to my brother probably about an hour ago. He knew that I was going to be doing this today, and I was going to be talking about UFC. We were talking a little bit about the fight, and man, he got me fired up, guys. He got me fired up because my brother, along with many others, is doubting Conor McGregor tonight. I think right now Vegas has Dustin Poirier favored in this fight. I mean, I understand Dustin, he did well the last fight. I'll give it to him. He went for the leg. He got Conor. He knocked him out. But don't underestimate my guy. Don't underestimate my guy. So let's check out the chat here, see who's here first off, and then I'll get to a few things here. Grant, what's up, man? Ford Leaf, Ziggy, 3B Collections, howdy. Troy, how are you doing, man? My guy Roy is here. Met Roy at the Dallas show, big Tony Parker collector. Oh, yes, the legendary Scotty tradition. I can say legendary after all these guys. Bob Lewis, Mike O, Farm League, Edward, Jeremy, Sports Card Live, how's it going? Reese, Mike, Dave, good grief. There's a lot of people, guys, coming in, popping in. All right. Rick, Don, all right. Awesome. So first off, just to get a few things out of the way, I want to say thank you to Bench Clear Media for putting this on once again. I know Ty and Mike both did a lot of work to get this all put together, to coordinate it. So thanks to you guys right off the bat. Thanks to Dustin, Personal Finance Dad. He did a very entertaining hour right before me. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. And then also, don't forget to check out my guys Up North Collectors, Mike and Luke. They'll be coming up immediately following this. And towards the end of the stream, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. Mike and Ty were able to get some nice goodies from Tops. So this is what we're going to be giving away at the end of the stream. A 2021 Tops Tier 1 Soccer Hobby Box. And all you need to do to be eligible is just go to thehobbypallooza.com and register there. And that's just a way for them to kind of keep track of, who all is here. And it makes it easier for them to give away the prizes. So go make sure to do that to be eligible. And also that's a great place to, see the schedule, see what's all going on, because we got a lot of stuff happening. So I'm going to try to keep up with the chat the best I can. But yeah, like as you can tell from the title, I'm going to talk a little bit about UFC cards a little bit today. If you've watched some of my past videos, you know that like last year, I started getting into UFC cards a little bit, and there was a couple of different reasons for that. First, everything was getting crazy high, right? So I was looking for, I still wanted to collect, so I was looking for something that was, not just to the moon, right? So I started thinking back to, I don't know, it's probably be maybe the 2007, 2008 time frame. And me and a bunch of buddies, we would watch these UFC fights, and it was really fun. And I don't know if I just never really thought about the cards or wasn't really that aware of UFC cards. So I started doing a little bit of a deep dive into UFC cards last year. And there's some pretty cool stuff back then. Some pretty cool stuff. I'll show off a few things that I have, and then we can kind of start, getting some interaction, maybe some questions about stuff. So the first thing I'm going to show you is this is a 2009 Topps UFC Round 1 hobby box. This is kind of like the first mainstream UFC set. They'd had a few things, in other products previous to this, but this was like the first really mainstream UFC set. So I kind of compare this, like for basketball people, this is kind of like the 86 Fleer basketball set. And I say that because in basketball, they went from, 1981 Topps all the way up till 86 without having any cards in there, right? So 86 Fleer has a lot of people's, rookie cards, but it wasn't really their rookie year. Like some of those guys have been playing for 4 or 5 years, right? And that's really similar to what this is with the UFC Round 1. Basically, anybody that's in there, it's kind of like their rookie card. So you have like George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, Nate Diaz, a lot of guys like that. And the autographs, you get like 3 autographs per hobby box, and those things are like killer condition sensitive. So they demand a lot of value, and they have red ink as well on some of the autos. There is not, Mike. There's not Topps UFC Sapphire, and Topps actually, they lost the license, and Panini has the license now, and a lot of people that are into UFC know that Panini came out with Prism like a few months ago, and it's taken the world by storm. And a lot of people are really into the Prism stuff. I have not purchased any Prism stuff. I've been mainly focused on, a lot of the older stuff. Dude, I'm telling you, Ron, I'm ready for that fight tonight. Like, my brother, like that conversation we had just kind of like, threw a little gasoline on it for me. Let's see. I enjoy watching, but not my thing, collecting. Yeah. And I think, Z, that's a good point. I think a lot of people are, might be at that point right now. Let me put that back up there so people can see. And here's like something that I've thought about, and you guys can, maybe chime in. Maybe I'm crazy, but to me, like UFC cards are kind of at the point now where soccer was like 2 or 3 years ago. As in, there's only a couple of guys that people really know about, kind of like it was in soccer with like Messi, Ronaldo. But then as it started growing more and more, people got more interested and they started to look back. And I think that's kind of what's happening now with like Panini getting the license. Like Prism has gotten people more excited about UFC. And I think they're going to start looking back at the older stuff. That's kind of what happened in soccer with like Topps Chrome and stuff like that. And then people started to look back at the older stuff. So maybe I'm crazy, but I see some similarities. And, in soccer, like I said, Messi, Ronaldo, those are like the 2 biggest guys, right? And in UFC, it's Conor McGregor. And if you look at the highest paid athletes in the world right now, like I think it was I saw an article, I think from May 2020 to May 2021, Conor McGregor actually made the most money of any athlete in the world. I think it was around $180 million. And that, that includes endorsements, everything. That's not just salary wise. And I think Messi and Ronaldo were like 2 and 3. So yeah. Reese, you're right, dude. Nate Diaz, that guy, he's amazing. Like, he's definitely a fan favorite. Nate Diaz is like he's the only guy that I know of in UFC that like he can go out and just put on a killer performance, 5-round fight. He can end up actually losing the fight, and after the fight's over, the crowd is still cheering him. Like, they absolutely love Nate Diaz. He puts on a show. Yes, that box it's gotten a little bit pricey. And another cool thing about UFC, I'll bring this up now because in sports cards right now, we're going through this phase where, like base cards were like super popular for a while, and now people are kind of down on base cards, right? And the reason why so many people are down on them is because of the high population, right? The early UFC stuff, it's pretty fascinating when you start to dig into it, as far as like how little of that stuff they actually made. I want to say the round one set, I think I've seen somewhere where there was maybe like 3,000 to 4,000 cases of this stuff made, like 12-box cases, something like that. So there's not a lot of this stuff out there. And, you know, obviously UFC it's still not, as far as card wise, I mean, make no mistake about it, it's not anywhere close to like basketball, football, baseball, soccer. But back then it was even less popular as far as that stuff goes. So, you know, they didn't print a ton of that. So yeah, UFC National Treasures, that's going to be cool. Man, you know who I got? I got my guy Connor tonight. Second round knockout. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see. F1. Yeah, F1 is, you're right, Clay. F1 is, yes. Connor with the win tonight. I like it. Let's see what Ron's got to say. Nevada won't punish fighters for cannabis anymore, so that opens the door for Mark Diaz. Yeah, Nate's an interesting dude. Like, if you've seen interviews with him, I mean, he can go off the rails a little bit. Let's see here. Yeah, it's not performance enhancing, right? For sure. Pepino, seen Nate Diaz walk around Pasadena by himself. No bar. Yeah. I mean, Nate Diaz, like, he is like a man of the people. And I watched his last fight. His last pay-per-view was last month. One of the best fights I've ever seen. 5 rounds. He ended up losing, but my God. The guy looked like he had been through a meat grinder at the end of it, and he's still standing though. Like, you can't hardly knock the dude out. Little basketball question here. Is Russell Westbrook coming to the Lakers? You know, I've heard that rumor. It wouldn't be the worst thing for him or the Lakers. That's what I'll say about that. I'm kind of hoping that maybe he does, to be honest. Let's see. So who has the highest selling and most popularity? Okay. So Conor McGregor would be the answer to both of those. But I've got some other guys that I got. Like, basically the people that I've focused on so far: Conor McGregor, John Jones, Amanda Nunes, Nate Diaz. I have some Nate Diaz, and then Khabib. So I'll show you a little bit of what I've got here. So here's the two guys that will be fighting tonight. Like, this is Conor McGregor's 2013 Topps Bloodlines. This is the flag parallel, which the flag parallel, basically what it does, it'll have like their home country's flag color in the background. And these are numbered to 188. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that. There we go. It's kind of focusing, maybe trying to. So this one's numbered to 188. And as far as the PSA 10 goes, there's 6 of those in the pop report right now. So very low pop card. And this is Dustin Poirier's 2011 Finest Gold Refractor rookie. And these are numbered to 88 on the back. And it's really cool the way they do a lot of these UFC cards with the numbering. They have a lot of the parallels will end in the number 8. And that's, you know, because they fight in an octagon, which I thought was, you know, pretty clever, right? So that's Conor and Dustin. Here's some Amanda Nunes. Let's see. I've got 3 of her rookie cards. She's pretty much considered the GOAT as far as women's UFC goes. And you have to, I think, like, she's super popular, but you have to give a lot of credit, I think, also to Ronda Rousey, because before Ronda Rousey, like, there was no UFC women's division. Like, Dana White was actually very much against having a women's division, but when Ronda Rousey kind of came around, he finally just said, okay, let's do it. So she actually, you have to give her a lot of credit for even having the women's division. There's a Topps Chrome Gold refractor, 2018 of Amanda. Another guy that I, well, yeah, you can tell I really like John Jones. So like here are 2011 finest gold refractors of John Jones. So these are numbered to 88. There are 6 of them in the PSA population report. I have all 6 of those, and I think Beckett may have like 4 or 5, and I have this one there, and then I also have another one raw. So I'm pretty big on John Jones. Here's some more of John Jones stuff. I have like 2013, like there's a couple of blue, or yeah, right here's a couple of the blues and golds. If I can get my hands to work here. And then really in UFC, the GOAT, which for everybody out there listening, you guys probably know this, but if anybody's not familiar with that, what that refers to as the greatest of all time, right? That basically in UFC, a lot of the experts, and I'm by no means an expert, but I've just learned as much as I can over the last year, but the GOAT status is kind of between John Jones and then this guy right here, the Eagle, Khabib. So Khabib recently retired, and he was undefeated. So this is his rookie card. This is really his only rookie card. This is from 2012 Topps Bloodlines, which was also the first, I would say, it was the first premium set that Topps came out for UFC. And when I say premium set, like here's actually a box. This will kind of show you what it looked like. Now, what they did in this is it was a premium set because what they have inside this box is they have 10 mini boxes or packs, right? And those were like $25 a piece suggested retail, right? So this was actually a $250 box at release, which in 2012 for UFC that was premium, right? Let me try to catch up on the chat here a little bit. Quit jabbering for a sec. Let's see. I remember when boxing was king back in the day. Yeah, you're right. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Brock Lesnar, yes, he's very popular. So there's been a lot of talk this week about this being possibly tonight being the highest, pay-per-view of all time for UFC. So I was looking at some of the previous numbers, and I want to say out of the top 6 pay-per-views that UFC has had, 5 of those featured Conor McGregor in the main event, and then the other one was actually Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir. So yeah, Brock definitely very popular. I mean, obviously he came from wrestling, so yeah. Any throwbacks in that set to old school UFC, like Tank out or that? No, I don't think so, Reese. I know like in the 2009 round 1, like it has like Hoist Gracie, guys like that, but I don't think anybody that far back. There's good follow up here by Ron Figdus. Yeah, he actually does. Like his 2009 round 1 rookie card actually sells pretty good. Yes, UFC, they definitely have rookie cards like the other sports. It can be a little bit tough to navigate. I know like when I first started getting into it, like I just showed this card right here, which is Khabib's rookie. This is the 2012 UFC Bloodlines. This was the only card that he had in 2012. When I first got into it, a lot of people, were referring to this as his rookie card. And this is the 2013 UFC Finest. This is the blue refractor, but a lot of people were referring to his 13 Finest as his rookie card, maybe not realizing that he did have a 2012 Bloodlines. It mentioned nice Conor card for sale. No, maybe someday, but no, I don't have any plans to sell Conor right now. He's kind of been my guy. Misha Tate, yeah, she's popular in the women's division. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that really says, Mike. I mean, as far as either I'm crazy or it's probably that, but let's see, Roy. I remember UFC hobby boxes LCS back in the day, and they said, yeah, yeah, and then, I can remember back then just going into card shops and I would just see them, but I probably back then didn't pay any more attention to them as I did like Pokemon or something like that, which obviously both of those have turned out to be way more valuable than probably what I ended up buying at the card shop that day. So what do I know, right? Yeah, okay. Mr. Wonderful says Gina Carano. Okay. I'm not aware. Like I said, I'm not by any means an expert, so I'll have to do some research on this because you guys are teaching me some stuff here. Hey, what's up, Carlos? Yeah, those things used to be pretty cheap. And they, I wouldn't say that these were necessarily cheap when I bought them. I think like on the round one, like I would have to go back and look to be exactly sure, but I think these were around like 600 or so when I bought mine, and that was last year. So not cheap, but cheaper than what they are now for sure. Anderson Silva. Yeah, I do have some Anderson Silva. I don't think I have any. I don't have any sitting next to me here, but yeah, I've got some Anderson Silvas. I liked him. He was during his prime. He was awesome. Oh, good question, Josh. Well, definitely got to be this one. Definitely got to be this one because it's Connor. That one right there. This one right here is really cool, and this one there's a few of these cards that actually my brother and I went in together on. This one's actually cool. This is from 2009 Topps UFC Round 2. This is one of the inserts. It's called the UFC Undisputed, and this is it's kind of like footage from one of the UFC video games. And this is the Ruby parallel, which is numbered to 8. So this one's 4 of 8, and this one is I think this is the only one that's been graded, I think. So that's a cool card there of St. Pierre. And then thirdly, I have to go with this, the 11 finest John Jones Gold, because I have so many of them. So obviously I like a magnet to that card. Like if I see one, I just have to have it, I think, anyway. Look at Series 1 Fortnite. I walk by those over and over, and my kids play all the time. I actually have some of that, Ziggy, and I think you are onto something there, my friend. Yeah, Fortnite it's picked up in popularity, and I will say with Fortnite, like if somebody's looking to get into that, and this is something I learned about it, you have to be careful, especially when buying boxes on eBay, because there's some of them that are the U.S. print, which is going to be by far the most desirable. But then they have some from Italy, Germany, all different places, and those are not as desirable. They're still desirable, but the U.S. print, I think, is kind of what you want to look for. I think there's one in the Series 1 Fortnite, the Black Knight Hollow, that thing. It's expensive. I don't know if it's kind of become like the Charizard for Fortnite, but it seems to be that way. Rick, so the GOAT of UFC, I think it is one of these two right here. I think it's either Khabib, who recently retired, undefeated, or John Jones. John Jones technically has a loss on his record, but he didn't actually lose the fight. He got disqualified for an illegal elbow or something like that. So he's never actually been beaten. So neither one of those guys have ever actually been beaten. John Jones technically has a loss, but those are guys that I think most people consider to be the GOAT. Connor's the most popular, but I mean, and I'm a huge Connor fan, but I'll openly admit he's not the best fighter for sure. He's really, really good, and at his peak, he was, ridiculously good. But there's quite a few fighters. Like, I'm not sure. I don't think Connor, as far as if you were just looking at skill wise, I'm not sure if Connor would. I don't think he would crack the top 10. But popularity, he's by far number one. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not ripping it. Definitely not ripping it because it's just it's gotten too expensive. Some of these boxes. Like here's another box right here. This is the second product they came out with. This is the UFC round 2. This is the hobby box of this. And you can see, you got Anderson Silva, Rampage Jackson, Chuck Liddell on there. But this is the one that has John Jones rookie autographs in it. So that's a very desirable box as well. And, like other than the round 1 box, none of these other boxes were very expensive when I bought them. I mean, the round 1 was like $600, I think, when I bought it last year. And that's, by far the most that I've paid for one of those. What's up, Ken? I don't think I have a single UFC card, but yeah, man. Chuck Liddell, he was my favorite back when I first started watching. Back in like the late 07, 08 era, something like that. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Dropping lots of knowledge. Yeah, I mean I've picked up a lot of this stuff over the last year, Ziggy, because I knew literally nothing about Fortnite or UFC. I knew Fortnite was really popular, and I'd watched some UFC, but as far as the cards and stuff go, so just a lot of research and just learning from other people. So there's some of this stuff. I mean, it can get a little bit complicated for sure. Let's see. Yeah, GSP, man. And I think you'll see more of that as far as like you've seen that a lot in the other sports lately with, documentary type stuff, 30 for 30s coming out. I think that's going to become more of a thing in UFC, and GSP would be a prime candidate for one. Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's very fair. I would definitely say Silva, GSP's got to be. He's right up there, I would say for sure. Like I would have GSP quite a bit higher than I would Silva, just because, I mean, he was just a monster. And there's rumors he may come back and fight again, so we'll see. Let's see. Bobby, how's it going? He's agreeing with Rick there. I really don't know, to be honest, about this. Like, I have not purchased any Panini UFC stuff yet. Like I said earlier, I've been focusing on the older stuff because that's what I'm more familiar with at this point, and I just know the print runs on this lower stuff or the older stuff are lower than the stuff that's coming out now. So I'm not sure. I mean, if I could get it at a good price, but that stuff is high. Like the Prism stuff is like, what is it, over $1,000 a box? That's, oof. Yeah. Small stack of Bloodline cards in a box. Yeah, definitely. The Bloodline stuff, it's pretty popular. Like here's another. I don't have, like, I missed out on getting a 2013 Bloodlines box back when they were relatively affordable. That's the Connor year, but this is the 2014 UFC Bloodlines box. Now I think this one has potential autographs of Connor and Khabib and people like that, but I missed out on the 13, which has Connor's rookie and rookie autographs and stuff like that in it. I wish I would have definitely snagged one of those. 2013 is Connor's rookie. He's in UFC Bloodlines. Like he has a base card. He has like the flag parallel, which is like this one. He has like a black that's numbered to 25, I think, and then there's a ruby that's numbered to 8, and then I think there might be like a 1-1 too. Let's see. I feel like Chuck Liddell's. Yes, I agree with that 100%, Reese. Chuck Liddell, he was super popular. Like that's what got me into it, was watching Chuck Liddell. I highly recommend going back and watching. You can go on YouTube and watch so many of these older fights. Like I like to go back. That's how I learned so much about UFC. That was the main thing, is just going back and watching a bunch of these fights, because to me, if I'm going to buy the cards, like I have to understand what I'm buying. Like I can't just buy stuff, without really knowing what it is. So if I can't get into it, the sport, then I just can't really get into the cards either. So that was kind of the first thing I did, is like I went back and I watched a bunch of these fights, and I really got into the fights, because to me that's at the heart of all this. Like I'm a sports fan, so I have to like it. Let's see. 2020 finest, the man inserts will be appreciated for their beauty. I do. I like those. I'm a big fan of the baseball ones. I have a couple of the Acuna, the gold refractors from the man. I loved those back in '98 when they originally came out, and I never pulled one of those, actually. I think I pulled like one of the base cards, one of the base demands, which I think back then they might have been numbered to 500. Any rookies or up and coming fighters to chase this year or last year? A lot of people were really excited about Michael Chandler. He had the really spectacular debut a couple of months back, and then his second fight, he ended up losing. So I don't know if people are still high on him or not. To be honest, I'm not super familiar with a lot of the really new fighters. So that's something I would probably just need to do more research on. And there's so many divisions, like different weight divisions in UFC, so it's hard to even keep up with like who's in what division, because some of these guys go back and forth. Wow, okay. That's awesome. The first pay-per-view back in '93. Yeah, see, I need to go back and watch some of the really early ones. So, question for you, Mr. Wonderful, if you want to comment, who was the main of? Well, I guess you said it was a tournament, right? So, who ended up winning that tournament, and like who were the last two fighters, if you don't mind commenting? Abel. So, like I said, what I did, Abel, is I just like the first thing I wanted to do was learn about the fighters. So I went back and watched a lot of these old fights just to kind of get familiar with these fighters, and I kind of picked out some guys that, you want to like the guys that you collect. So Chuck Liddell, that was actually some of the first UFC cards I bought were of Chuck Liddell, because that was the guy I was the most familiar with from the past. So I would start watching some of the fights, and I don't like to recommend necessarily what people collect, but I do think that once people start looking at this older stuff more, I think that's going to be some very desirable stuff. I mean, it's pretty desirable now, but I think it's going to become more popular. No, 59. Well, not really, but it's kind of like, how people sing in the car, but you don't really tell people about it. You know what I'm talking about. Hey, what's up? Oh, okay. So was it Hoist Gracie won? Awesome. Yeah, and like his cards, he's got some pretty cool looking cards. I because he's like he looks like a true like when you picture like in a movie what a mixed martial artist looks like he dresses the part. He looks like a mixed martial artist. So that's cool that he won that one. Bought the UFC for 1 million. Great investment. Yes, like for anybody out there that's looking for investment advice, go ask the Fertitta brothers because they know what's up. Thanks, Ziggy. Appreciate it, man. Use a burner account. Not necessary on the burner accounts, but oh, interesting. Conspiracy theory coming in from Pepino, man. I'll have to look into some of this stuff. Like you guys are actually teaching me probably more than I'm teaching you. You guys probably know more about this stuff than I do. That's pretty interesting though, Pepino. I'm gonna have to dig into that. The original guys should be considered the best. Less rules, no weight classes. Those dudes were bad men. And yeah, that's something. Ken brings up a good point here. Back then, apparently the rules were you just got in there and fought. So that makes sense that those guys would have had to have been pretty tough. Doesn't everyone, Pepino, man? Dan Severn and Hoist Gracie. I don't remember who won. Okay, Mr. Wonderful. I think Dave's midlife card crisis said Gracie won. So that's cool. I'm glad you guys brought that up because I'm gonna definitely have to go back and watch that because I'm interested. Okay, it was the first season of Tough Enough. The Bonner versus Forrest fight was incredible. I assume you're talking Forrest Griffin. And then I think the Ultimate Fighter, that show really kind of, you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't that show help really, kind of get the wheels turning for the UFC as far as popularity back when they started that? What are the top 5 cards of the minute? You know me, Mike. I'm kind of an old head, so all the stuff I have is like pre-Panini stuff. Like most of the stuff I have would be like, I mean, like I have a few of the Topps Chrome stuff from the last couple of years that Topps had the license. Most of the stuff I have is like the early stuff. I don't know who the top 5 cards of the minute would be. I'm sure there's somebody in here that's a lot smarter than me that can tell you, but 2010 Leaf. Yeah, and I guess Leaf. I guess they've put out some stuff over the years when Topps had the license. UFC fighters need a union. They're all independent contractors. Brutal career. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely brutal. I mean, and I totally get like I've had a lot of friends of mine that I've talked to about UFC and I've tried to get them interested and for some people, I mean, to be honest, it's too violent of a sport. And I mean, I can totally see where they're coming from. Like I think earlier I mentioned the last Nate Diaz fight a month ago. I mean, this dude looked like he had been through a meat grinder by the end of the fight. And he has so much scar tissue built up that, I mean, he opens up really easily. And yeah, much respect for these guys. I mean, and it's not for me, like, it's not just about the violence for me. Like, you really start to get into like the amount of skill that these guys have. I mean, it's incredible. Like some of the things that these guys can do. You certainly wouldn't want to meet any of them in an alley. And you could take the worst guy in the UFC, and if you just put him in a cage with the best boxer in the world, and you just let them do whatever, I mean, the UFC guy's going to win every time because these guys are they're dangerous. Let's see. Wrong name here, right? Is Ultimate Fighter. Oh, okay. I mean, I didn't know if there was maybe something I was unaware of, Reese. Yeah, so Forrest Griffin. Okay. I think I have a Forrest Griffin card that I may have one on the way that I purchased actually. He was another guy that was super popular. Garrett, what is up, my friend? Good morning. It's like afternoon, buddy. It's afternoon where I'm at. You're out there. You're out there on that leisurely West Coast time, right? All right. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Like I don't think that Pepino Man is like, black belt in jiu-jitsu or anything to my knowledge, but no, I would not want to meet him in an alley just to answer Scott's question. All right, so we showed a lot of UFC stuff. We've talked a little bit about the fight. Let's talk a little bit about, since Scott's in here, I want to get his thoughts here. What are we thinking about the NBA Finals at this point, guys? And another question for people would be like, what has been the most surprising thing that you've seen in this playoffs so far? My son pulled out Rose DJ Rose, I honestly don't know. I'm not familiar. I'm not super familiar with a lot of the really new people. I mean, that's cool that it's an auto. I mean, any auto is pretty good. So I don't know. I would just kind of check on eBay and maybe see what some have sold for. I'm not sure if you want to sell it or anything, but I'm not familiar with that. So yeah, I'll give some of my thoughts here on the NBA Finals. Right now, Phoenix is in control. I'll grant them that much, but I think far too many people are crowning them as champs already. The Bucks throughout this playoffs, if you've watched them, and I know Scott can back this up. They have not started off the greatest in several of these series, and Phoenix has been on fire from 3-point land. Scott and I have been texting back and forth during these games, and he made a good point the other night, about them shooting such a high percentage from three. And I mean, is that going to continue? I don't know, but I don't think that Holiday and Middleton shooting as poorly as they have will continue. So I give, in the spirit of UFC, I give the Bucks a puncher's chance still to come back and win this thing. As far as well, I don't know. This wouldn't qualify maybe as surprising. I'll say the most incredible thing that I've seen is the fact that Giannis is playing right now, and not only playing, but playing very well. When I first saw that injury, I was like, oh my. I was like, I didn't think he would be able to play next season. And he's already back, and he had 42 points in the last game. Just incredible. Just incredible. So the Suns look good. It looks like they're playing 10 guys out there. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, and that's another thing, too. They played at home. They're comfortable at home. And not to take anything away from Phoenix, but I do think you will see a different story when, the series kicks off in Milwaukee tomorrow night. And I hope so, honestly, just because I want to see a competitive series. Part of me wants Giannis to win because to me, he seems like such a good dude, such a hard worker. And then there's another part of me that I won't mind if Phoenix wins because Chris Paul, he played 1 year with the Thunder, but what a lot of people may not realize is his rookie year and his second year, he actually played in Oklahoma City just for the Hornets. That was when Hurricane Katrina happened, and so I've seen quite a bit of Chris Paul over the years. Like the first NBA game I ever went to was actually Chris Paul's rookie year. Let's see some other things here. Surprising is not seeing the Lakers. Yeah, that's who I think most people, including myself, picked before the playoffs. And you just never know what's going to happen as far as that stuff goes. Injuries, they happen. Yeah, so many injuries. The Bucks would have to win 4 out of 5. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be easy, and I'm not saying that they'll do it. I'm just saying I think it's still possible. The Bucks came back down 2-0 to the Nets. Yeah. All right, guys. So we've got about 15 or so minutes left, and I want to save the last couple of minutes for a little trivia question to give away the Topps Tier 1 hobby box. So if anybody has any national questions for the last 10 minutes, I mean, I'm super pumped for the national. I can't wait. There's, so many of my great friends are going to be there and just, hanging out and having a great time. So I can't wait to get there. It's the show itself is fun, but just, getting to catch up with everybody. And, I have so much fun just seeing what my friends are buying and, the dinners and everything after the show is over, just getting to hang out with everybody. Because, we've been locked up, it seems like, for years now. And, so many of these guys that are good friends of mine, like I haven't seen them in, it's going to be 2 years. What kind of shoes would you bring to the National? Yeah, everybody hits the comfortable shoes thing. I like Skechers. Doesn't really have anything. It's just a personal choice of mine. But let's see. You have the best roommate ever for the National. Yeah. So JT and I are going to be staying together at the National. So Mike and JT and I will be staying together at the National. So I think Mike might have been referring to himself, but I don't know. My first initial thought was just JT. But no, we're gonna have a blast, Mike. Mike and I stayed together at the last National in 2019. It was a great time. It was really probably the first time. He and I had met before, but that's probably the first time that we had really got to spend, much time together in person. So that was a lot of fun, and I expect, this year to be no different. Yeah. Yeah, considering the events of 2020, yeah, we'll just try to brush that aside and just go and have a great time. Let's see. It's a guys' weekend without the. Yeah, that's a good point, Bobby. It is, man. It's like the ultimate guys' weekend. And like we say it's an ultimate guys' weekend. Like there's more and more ladies getting involved in the hobby, so that's a good thing, right? I'm excited to see more and more ladies at the National, because I just think it's cool. The more people, the more females, the more kids that we can get involved. It doesn't have to just be a bunch of old dudes. Hey, there's the guys who get to come up next and put on a show for you guys. Mike and Luke, Up North Collectors. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you guys again. We had a blast at the last one. Did a nice box break. Pulled some stuff back then that was, not worth a lot. That's worth a lot now, right? I think back then we were really excited about the points, which the points was a good card, but some of the other stuff that we pulled out of those boxes was Trae Young. He's pretty good. Will you be searching for UFC at the National? Yeah, man. Of course I will. It'll be interesting to see like how much will be there. Like I've been to a couple of the Dallas card shows recently, and there's been a few things, but not a lot of UFC stuff. Most of what I've seen is the newer stuff, the Prism and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of what a lot of people are excited about, and to me, that's kind of giving me the chance to kind of look back and maybe look at some of the stuff that people are overlooking at the moment. You bet, Dave. It is going to be epic. And girls, too. Let's see here. I'm disappointed in that best roommate choice. Amen. Yes, we women are collecting, too. All right. So we have a couple of ladies chiming in here. That's what I like to see. Optic basketball for $30 retail box. That is, yeah. I mean, people that just came in Mike, that just came into the hobby the last couple of years, like they don't even probably believe when we tell stories like that. Yeah, Luca and Trey Young, not a bad rookie class. Will you actually buy a card at the National? Okay, so this is an ongoing thing with a lot of my friends. You know, they like to give me a hard time about, you know, being patient, and you know, I'm the guy that can go to a card show and be there for a week, and I don't have to buy anything. I'm not saying that I won't buy anything, but I'm not saying I will either. I'm not committing. Not committing. I probably will buy some stuff, but it's not a for sure thing. I remember buying 2 crappy hobby boxes of Topps Chrome Baseball in 19. Yeah, you've made your money back. That dude's on fire. You know, possible triple crown. Agree, need more kids in the hobby. My son got me back in. We got my grandson into cards too. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you know, those of us that are in it now, we're not going to be around forever. So we have to get the newer people involved. And I'm a big believer that, you know, some people are not as what can I say? They're not as willing to be accepting of some of the newer people because they think they're just in it for the money, and you know, partially true on some of that. But I think what we want to do is get those people that are just in it for the money, and you know, if you get them to where they like the cards, then they'll stay. That's the key. You have to get people to like it and enjoy it, because the money thing, I mean, you know, sometimes you make money, sometimes you lose money when you buy and sell cards, but the fun can always be there, right? And the friendships and, you know, all the great stuff that the hobby has to offer. Oh, appreciate you, Troy. Thanks for hanging in. How much money should I bring each day? Well, Mr. Garrett, if you were going to be there, I would say you should bring a lot, because that way I could get some of it. Pepino, 500 in food stamps. Okay, that is one strategy that I haven't heard on any you know, national prep type videos, but that's an interesting way to do it. I like it. Brody, what's up, my man? Bought a 17 opt. Yeah, that is insane, isn't it? Yeah, so Brody rips a lot of product. He knows what we're talking about here. This stuff didn't used to be expensive, right? Pepino's getting a few chuckles in here. Who's coming up next? I'm hoping it's because I'm Carl. I'll be ready. So up next, we have Mike and Luke, Up North Collectors. I'm sure they're going to be, you know, speaking of breaking product, I'm sure they're going to be breaking some pretty sweet product on their channel. Mike and Luke, just 2 of the best father-son duo, 2 of the nicest people that I've ever come across, not only in this hobby, but just in life in general. They're just good people. So definitely get over there and support their channel. Let's do a giveaway, guys. Let's do a giveaway for this 2020-2021 Topps Tier 1 Soccer Hobby Box. So we've got a few people in here that seem to know their UFC like way better than I do. So I'm guessing that somebody will be able to get this pretty fast, and you can look it up if you have to, but I'm just going to go by the way the comments appear on my end here. That's how I have to do it that way. So some people may get different results, but I have to go by what I see first. And here's the trivia question I came up with. Who did Conor McGregor, I can't even speak. Who did Conor McGregor beat in his first fight as a member of the UFC in 2013? First person to comment the right answer will win the box of Topps Tier 1. So I haven't seen anything come through yet. So maybe some people having to look it up. Nobody's got it yet. I've seen a couple of answers. Popeye, I don't know who that is, Popeye. We gotta have their real. I don't know if Popeye's a nickname, but that's not the. We gotta have the guy's real name. Oh, there it is. We got it right here. James G. Marcus Brimage, you got it, my friend. So, if you have, as long as you have signed up on the HobbyPallooza website, you have to do that to be eligible, and that's just for, you know, they're not going to be bugging you and sending you a bunch of stuff like through email, but it's just the email so they can get in contact with people and make sure they get their prizes. So if you haven't already, James, go to the HobbyPallooza website, sign up, and they will get you a Topps Tier 1 Soccer hobby box. So congratulations. All right, guys, it's time to wrap it up. Definitely go and check out the next guys up, Mike and Luke, Up North Collectors, and go check out everybody. There's a ton of great content creators that are going to be appearing on here. And I definitely appreciate everybody hanging in with me. I know there's a lot of people in here probably, you know, don't give a flip about UFC, but everybody was in here participating. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for allowing me to come on here and at least share a little bit of that. It's been great, guys. And go tonight. If you're kind of on the fence about UFC, check out the fight tonight. It's gonna be fun, I think. So I will sign off now. Head over to Up North Collectors, and I'll catch you guys later.